Counter protest. I don't understand it. It's very stupid to me, right? Black Lives Matter were protesting in 2020, summer of 2020. I might have mentioned this in some of my videos. And you had the Blue Lives people out there to counter protest Black Lives Matter. And the Blue Lives Matter people were like, all lives matter, Blue Lives Matter. Forget about Black Lives Matter. And at the time, I was like, these people are crazy. But back then, we had the Trump people, and we know the Trump people were crazy. And I thought it would have died down with the BLM dying down. We haven't heard much from the BLM movement in recent months, right? Which is good. It means maybe things are improving, right? I'm not gonna, say I want BLM marching every week, because if they're marching every week, and that's the point of it. BLM, they march when something happens, right? It's, what is it? December 1st, 2021. Nothing much has happened. BLM isn't really marching. You don't hear much from them, right? This week I was reading up the abortion rights thing. That's in the Supreme Court, and they're deciding pretty much they're going to dismantle the Roe v. Wade thing. It's not if they're going to dismantle it. They're pretty much discussing how they're going to go about dismantling it. So you have the people protesting for abortion rights and women's rights. I'm sorry. It's a women's rights, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine, right? You have an authority, the Supreme Court, which is very conservative right now because of Donald Trump. They're about to dismantle something that's been around. I look at it as something that protects women's rights, right? Women are human beings too. They have a right to their own body, right? So that's where I stand on that. And these people out there protesting, fine. But I'm literally on my Alexa, I'm seeing counter-protesting people showed up. Counter-protesters showed up to protest the protesters. And I'm like, where have I seen this before? And I'm like, stop with the counter-protesting, right? It's stupid, right? If BLM, and I use BLM because it's black and white pretty much, or night and day example of this. If they're protesting a cause A, right? They want police reform, they want better, right? And that's the thing. BLM is not out there saying kill all cops or dismantle this or dismantle that. They're saying, listen, we're citizens too, right? I want to look at my police officers. I want to look at my city, my where I live, and I want it to be better for everyone, right? Not just for white people, for everyone, right? I want everyone to feel safe, right? Point of BLM. That's pretty much it. They're out there marching because they want to better society, right? In some regards, right? They want a better society for where they live. That's why you see white people marching, young people marching in those BLM protests. You don't really see older people, and then if you do, you see older people that would have marched with Woodstock, and I knew one of them, right? A march with Martin Luther King, because they want better for the next generation, right? That's how I see BLM. I don't see him for anything else, right? I know there might be some bad in that, whatever, but main point of it is that, right? End of story, period. And you have these kind of people protesting, right? Blue Lives Matter, right? And I made a big point on my Facebook, right? When the officer died on January 6th. Officer Sicknick died, but the Trump people stormed the Capitol, which everyone's trying to forget. It didn't really happen, right? And he died. Went to my Facebook. Was looking for the Blue Lives Matter marchers, the protesters, right? An officer died in the line of duty, right? Or as a result of the line of duty. Let's go out and march for him. Let's go out and put our Blue Lives Matter flags up. Looked, not a peep. I even mentioned, I pointed people out, put their names, tag their names under my stuff, saying, oh, where's the Blue Lives Matter people, right? It's all BS, right? Because if Blue Lives Matter to you guys, you would be out there with your flags right now, right? Not a peep, right? That's how you tell a movement is BS, right? Or these counter-protest movement is BS, right? If you're for abortion, right? Where the hell were you guys protesting the last 50, 60 years of Roe v. Wade, right? Right? Where you guys organized, protesting, bringing something to the table, saying like, this is wrong, abortion is wrong because of this, right? And don't say, oh, because God said. Don't use that, right? I hate when people, not protesters, but people in general say, God told me to say to everyone, or God is saying this to us, right? Right? Don't tell me what God is telling you, Right? I hate when people say that, and that's a problem with religion. That's a whole other video. But stop with the counter protesting, Americans. I don't know if anywhere else in the world really does it, because people have better things to do with their time, right? Right? Like if you're against abortion, right? And you're sitting down in your living room right now watching my video, or just watching people protesting outside the Supreme Court, and you're like, I don't agree with them. I don't think women should have abortions. What can I do to maybe, mitigate my wants for society, right? Say, for example, abortion makes our society weaker. Abortion is bad for our society, right? Because that's how you look at it, right? My beliefs are my beliefs. My church's belief are my church's belief. But I have to look outside the scope of these layers and say, is this better for everyone? The 350 plus million people in this country? What I think, is that good for everyone? Right? And a rational person might say, you know what, maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. Maybe, you know what, I'll start a support group for rape victims, or maybe I'll create a group that prevents statutory rape, or teen pregnancy groups to prevent that stuff from happening. Not in a creepy, church lady coming to your school and telling you don't have sex, but, create a society where pregnancies don't happen like that. And you don't have to worry about abortion. Cut it off at the pass, in a way, right? That's constructively protesting, maybe against abortion, right? Going out there with a flag and saying, oh, counter-protesting is silly, right? It's silly, right? Stop with the counter-protesting, people. You're wasting your time. Head them off at the pass. If you're against abortion, if you're against Black Lives Matter, right? Against police reform, start your own stuff. Be original, be like, how can I do this for myself, my cause, right? Would the people behind you counter-protesting, would they say, guys, let's just put the flags down, go home and do this differently? Would these crazy nuts behind you counter-protesting an actual protest, would they listen to someone rational? Probably not. Try it and see what they would say, right? They'll push you into the protest and start protesting against you. That's how crazy those people are. Stop it, Americans. Stop it with the counter-protesting. 2022, I don't want to see any of these counter-protesting, right? You're not really saying anything about what you feel, right? At best, no one's listening to you but yourself, right? I like, bad example. I like Deer Park water, right? Right. And, I'm for Deer Park water. That's my water. So I'm going out, and maybe the government is taxing Deer Park water, right? And I'm like, no, man, you can't do that. What about the other waters? You don't tax one water. So I'm protesting, right? And along comes a bunch of people that like Poland spring water, right? Out of nowhere, just come out counter-protesting my water. What does it have to do with their water? If I like Deer Park water, right? You see how stupid that is, right? It's stupid. And I think Americans, we have this entitlement where what I wear has to be something everyone else likes and everyone else does. Everyone has to feel the way I do, or if they don't, something's wrong with them. They're not American. They're less of Americans than me. And I have to go out and let them know that. That's pretty much all this is, right? You're for women's rights. You're liberal. You're Democrat. You're blah, blah, blah. You're not American. I'm going to go out and tell you I'm an American. That's pretty much what it is. It's me. Look at me. That's all it is. It's BS. Stop it, Americans. Do something creative with your time. If you are against something, head it off at the pass. Create programs. Create a community group that could prevent what you see as a problem from happening. And so things are solved, right? Counter-protesting don't solve anything, right? It's not gonna stop BLM from marching, right? Next week, if someone gets shot and killed by the police, and we see the videos and it's crazy, and it's like, how did that happen? It happened because he was black, or whatever. BLM is gonna go out and protest, regardless of if he counter-protested them last year or the year before that, right? They're gonna go out because that's what they see, and that's what that's an emotion, right? If they're protesting with an emotion, emotional reaction to something that we all see, right? To go out and counter-protest with your skinny Blue Lives Matter flags and this and that, It's silly, silly, right?